I told you I wasn't ready.
Yeah, you told me you were ready.
I did tell you I was ready.
You do this every day.
I do this every day. Thank God it's Friday. Hey, don't you get in this. The sound in the background is JR from Circuit World, and I'm your host, BKP. Good morning from Circuit World in Blue Ridge. On what is turning out to be a beautiful day. I know it's a little cold this morning. I understand. You'll be okay. The sun is shining. Did I do that on live TV?
You did.
I did. Whoo, that's the kind of day it is. Okay, the sun is shining. It's going to be a beautiful day here in North Georgia. Come up and visit us and spend the weekend and have a lot of fun. So many things to do here. We're at Circuit World. I've told you that 3 times. Amanda's over there. I haven't told you that yet. We're hoping she has it together. I mean, she's had all week to get it together. Hopefully today will be her day. But no, thank you very much, Amanda. JR, I want to give a couple things before we start. First of all, our thoughts, our prayers are with the Bush family, as today is the service for former First Lady Barbara Bush. And all due respect to that family, we don't have time to go into it right now, but we have heard so many negative things. The professor in Sacramento or whatever, Colbert, did he say something offline last night about her appearance? But whatever. I mean, years ago, you would have respect. And is that where we're at in the country? Is that there's certain things, no matter at a point in time where we're at, we can't pause and just all have respect for a minute. You know, there used to be the old saying, Amanda, right? Too soon, too soon. You know, but doesn't exist anymore. I agree with it. Okay. Also, before we really get on a roll, 2 deputies. Now, I know what other networks are doing. Okay. I know what they're doing. They're sensationalizing things this morning in an effort to gain ratings. Now, we need ratings here. Circuit World needs sales. JR's waiting for you to line up to the counter and buy things. We need ratings on our show, obviously. But so many are doing it under the guise of real news, that this is really what is happening out in the world just to get ratings. I want to open with the 2 deputies killed in the line of duty in Florida. And I won't push through and not get emotional. 2 Florida deputies were killed in the line of duty today, according to law enforcement officers. 2 Gilchrist County Sheriff's deputies were shot and killed at about 3 p.m. while they were at Ace China Restaurant in downtown Trenton, located about 50 miles west of Gainesville. Sheriff Bobby Schultz said in a statement, the suspect walked up to the restaurant and shot both of the deputies through a window, Schultz said. Deputies responding to the scene then found the suspect shooter dead outside of the business, according to the sheriff. Okay. And the 2 deputies we're remembering first and foremost as we start this show in law enforcement here for Florida, Sergeant Noel Ramirez and Deputy Taylor Lindsay are the 2. The deputies were identified as 30-year-old Sergeant Noah Ramirez and 25-year-old Deputy Taylor Lindsay. All right, I'm sorry. Just trying to push back that these 2 young men, 30 years old, 25, and that's where we're at in this country. Just the lack of respect for law enforcement. You know, the reason this hits me is that it's a long, it's hard to put into, but, you know, and I'm not going to tell you where now, which most of you know, but probably 2, sometimes 3 days, but probably 2 days a week, I eat lunch with several Gilmer County deputies. I go in this place, they're always there, we horse around, we aggravate each other, we have a whole lot of fun, and they like to pick on me, right, JR? Oh, yeah. Yeah, all right, JR, oh, yeah. and they like to give me a hard time about something. And I go in there and I get a sandwich, and they already have their sandwich. There's usually 4, sometimes 5 deputies at lunchtime there. And I'm sitting there this morning, I'm reading this story, Amanda, and we sit there, and the whole area in front of where we sit's glass. I'm just thinking, we're sitting there, and here these 2 guys are sitting in a Chinese restaurant just eating their meal for the day, and somebody comes to the glass while they're unsuspecting and fires and kills them. I'm sorry, there's days where I do stories that I don't even know where I'm going with it, but I just get at a loss on where we're at in this country with some things. The respect for our law enforcement and how people will just walk up and do what they're doing. So our thoughts and prayers to these deputies, because you and I know these deputies, not these particular ones. We know the ones. We live in rural North Georgia for the most of us, and we know several of them in Fannin County and Union County and Dawson and Towns and Lumpkin and White and Gilmer and Pickens. We know the sheriff. And whether we have a run-in with the law enforcement or not, we still live in an area where, we respect them. And so that's all I'm going to say on that. I just wanted to open up saying our thoughts and prayers are with those families and probably young children and wives. Moving right along, okay. JR, I'm going to give you a shout out too. I'm in a mood. It's like an award show today, okay? It's like Friday is I'm in a good mood. I'm not in a bad mood. I love being up here. I get up here at 6 o'clock in the morning. JR's usually late. But he does come in exceptionally early, much earlier than he has to here at Circuit World for me to come in and set up. And they have so much going on here. The place is packed with furniture and refrigerators and tables and everything. And he has to come in and he has to take about 45 minutes of his morning and start moving so many things around this store to set up this show. And I want to thank you for that, because you do that. And then while I'm setting up and JR's setting up, we have a contest so you can tell the biggest lie. And not only is JR late, he usually wins that too, right? Your fish is always the biggest when we tell the story. But thank you very much, JR, at Circuit World, for coming in and getting the show ready. Now, 8:15, we have Ask the Doc with Dr. William Whaley will be here, okay? We want to thank the Georgia Cancer Specialist affiliated with Northside Hospital for bringing that segment to you, and that's Ask the Doc. This morning at 8:15. At 8:45, back by popular demand, you asked for them, Rhinestone and Burlap. Better known as Bruce and Rick will be here. So you met Rhinestone and Burlap. They filled in for me Monday this week as I was out of town. So they will be here, All-Star Political Panel. That'll be at 8:45. At 9:40, we are going to introduce you to our new sports show, a 1-hour 10 o'clock live Monday with Dave Garner. Dave's back at the studio working and prepping for Monday's launch here. So you want to follow us on Facebook to get all the details. But we're going to go to Dave back at the studio working on it at 9:40 this morning and check in with him. Instant replay with Dave Gardner Monday at 10 o'clock live. 1 hour only live North Georgia sports show. Anything. College signing. You name it, North Georgia, it's happening. Dave and our staff at Team FYN Sports are going to start bringing it to you every Monday at 10 o'clock. Then, back by popular demand, you know we can't leave without a pooch. A pup will be in the house. Bringing down a house, we will have the Humane Society of Blue Ridge. We will have our pet of the week. I know you've been asking, where is the puppy? Well, he'll be here at 9:45, 9:50, somewhere around then. We're going to have the Humane Society of Blue Ridge, our pet of the week. Now, it's almost time to get Dr. Whaley in here, but I have some opening comments and a couple things I want to do, okay? Now, when we get to the All-Star Political Panel, first of all, President Donald Trump is calling in Rudy. Rudy's coming in. So bear with me just a minute. Let's hear it for Rudy's coming in. Play the video.
You ready, champ?
I've been ready for this my whole life.
Then you take us out on the field.
Rudy, go. Come on, man. Come on, Rudy. Come on now. All right, let's go.
President Donald J. Trump has called in Rudy Giuliani to wrap this thing up with Robert Mueller. We're about there, folks. I really feel it, okay? Now, we have a disgraced former FBI director, James Comey, going around talking to Rachel Maddow, talking to the cackling hens on The View, selling a book, but we have his memos. And guess what? In the memos, there's the redacted areas. That means it's classified information you and I can't read. But wonder if it was redacted when he sent the memos up to his Colombian professor, a friend up there, to release them to the media. Wonder if they were redacted. Interesting. I think James Comey released classified information. Possibly. Also, there's a lot of things said in the memo that he wrote in the memo, but one of the biggest things is we're not finding obstruction of justice where actually Donald Trump asked him directly to do something. So Rudy Giuliani is coming in to clean this thing up. And a lot of the media is making fun of this move by the President of the United States. But I myself have to say, I want to frame this up for you. Okay? Now, Michael Steele, New York. Trump's attorney, New York. Okay? FBI goes in, cleans out his office, all of his files. All right? Cleans out his apartment or his hotel. Right? Takes it down to the Southern District in New York. Interesting. Which the judge for the Southern District is who? Kimball Wood. Kimball Wood is who? George Soros' best friend. Hey, she presided over his marriage ceremony, right? Also, Hillary Clinton's buddy. Hillary Clinton told Bill to appoint her, okay? But she had to back out because she may have had an illegal or two cleaning the house and cutting the grass. But that being said, the Southern District of New York. Now, we have a disgraced former FBI director, James Comey, that goes on TV and tells George Stephanopoulos it's like dealing with a mob boss. Well, I'll tell you what. If you think it's like dealing with a mob boss, Rudy and Donald go way back. I mean, when Rudy was mayor, put up young Rudy. Okay, you see the jackhammers? That's a ribbon cutting for a major building that Donald Trump was going to build in New York City, right? And Rudy Giuliani is mayor. They go way back, all right? And then you have Rudy Giuliani and Donald Trump are friends. You can just rotate any picture as I'm talking. But let me remind you of something. As you have heard Donald Trump referred to as a mob boss, keep in mind, I told you on this show, if you watch, that the Southern District of New York is where so much as it's going to go through that court. So much of it, because they're all New Yorkers that they're going after for the most part. And it's going to go through that court of Southern District. Who knows the court of the Southern District of New York better than anybody? Rudy Giuliani. And by the way, Mr. Comey, a mob boss? Well, let me tell you, Mr. Giuliani actually knows a little bit about a mob boss. Because let me just say this. I have it here, I have it here, I have it here, and then we'll go to break and get our good friend Dr. Whaley in. In the Mafia Commission trial, February 25th, 1985 through November 19th, 1986, Giuliani indicted 11 organized crime figures, okay, including the heads of New York's so-called five families, under the Racketeer Influence and Corruption Organization Act, the RICO Act, on charges including extortion, labor racketeering, and murder for hire. Time magazine called this the case of cases, possibly the most significant assault on the infrastructure of organized crime since the high command of the Chicago Mafia was swept away in 1943, and quoted Giuliani's stated intentions. Our approach is to wipe out the five families, okay? 8 of the defendants were found guilty, which is most of the mob movies you watch today are the mob movies that Rudy Giuliani convicted. Where at? In New York. And 8 defendants were found guilty on all counts and subsequently sentenced, all right? According to the FBI memo revealed about 20 years later, leaders of the five New York mob families voted in 1987 on whether to issue a contract for death of the U.S. Attorney, Rudy Giuliani. He was the U.S. Attorney at that time of the Southern District of New York. He knows that district better than anybody. He knows his way in and out of the New York City Police Department because he was the head of it as the mayor of New York. This guy is top cop, been top cop. He's the right guy, and he's brought in to clean it up. And you watch and see. You mark my word, as Dad would say. And Rudy Giuliani, they had a hit. They were going to do a hit for him. But the heads of the Lucchese, Bonanno, and Genovese family, don't ask me why I know how to pronounce those, okay, rejected the idea, though the Gambini leader, John Gotti, encouraged an assassination. Rudy Giuliani's been called in to wrap this thing up. Just my prediction. Remember, I told you yesterday that all of this on the show, okay? Remember, I told you 2 days before Comey came out and ABC put the tease out that Donald Trump was being treated like a mobster. Remember that right here on the show? Now I'm telling you 2 days ago, what did I tell you? 2 days ago, if you pay attention to this, it was all going to go through the Southern courts. Am I right? Going to go through the Southern District Courts in New York. Who else knows those courts better, and the police and everybody in the system better than Rudy Giuliani? It's time to wrap it up. Michael Cohen will not flip on the President of the United States. Don't worry about that, because anything Michael Cohen does or happens, Michael Cohen, he may get pardoned after this. He's dealing with the guy. Why do you think New York Attorney General, oh my God, I got to get past this. Why do you think New York Attorney General yesterday, I did the story, right? New York Attorney General wants to bypass presidential pardons. They see this coming, folks. I'm your host, BKP. Man, I can't wait for the all-star political panel because this is going to get heated up in here. I hope Rhinestone and Burlap can come in and talk about this. I'm sorry I'm running late, Dr. Whaley. I appreciate your patience. No pun intended, Dr. Patience. You know, I appreciate that. We'll be right back with Dr. Whaley after these messages.